Hey everyone, again your boy Matt here. This is a continuation to the video describing, hopefully putting an end to the fucking bullshit from Rogue BJJ and the proto-fascist militia, which all sort of sprang up out of that place. So I'm going to end the thing hopefully talking about a guy called Jake, because there's two characters in the story, Jake and Lewis, who really need to get some attention here, right? Partially because Jake really wants attention, um, but mainly so there's sort of like the story is resolved for maybe people at the other end of this video. Okay, so Jake. Jake is this kid, and I have to call him a kid because he's like 30 years old, but he's definitely still a kid. Um, and he did a little bit of army service, and he's like feels very entitled about that. I don't know. He feels special because he was around other people who did incredible things, I guess, and that's his story. His story is that there's a guy here who has not done anything particularly incredible or admirable. Um, he gets rubbed through, and he's in Canberra, and in Canberra you've got a lot of people who have done some pretty incredible things, and he's just average or below average, as is normal. There's a full expression of different groups of people, right? And he takes an issue with me, okay, for very silly reasons. I'm better at him at jiu-jitsu. At the time, occupationally and still vocationally. Vocationally, I've done fucking amazingly well, but then, I was working, I had a good job and all these things, and he just sort of locked into my world, and it's like, everyone's got a road or something, right? And for some reason, he decided to lock a road right next to my road, right? And he was like, I'm fucking latching onto you. And except it wasn't some wholesome latching on, it was just like I became this little obsession to this like malevolent man child. And again, that's the only way you can describe this guy. And so, for example, I had, and this is, so let's take a step back and stop talking about the people for a second and talk about the overall situation, which I'm finding myself in. I'm finding myself in a situation where I'm getting these messages from celebrities and back and forth. I'm getting weird situations like this strange Cara Murray woman, who I don't think has any association with Tracy, and I've never, that entire thing has been very confusing to me, and I want to make that clear. But it came from Jake, like, because I got information from Jocko about this woman coming to my house. I got information, she was so public on social media, so like I have these jiu-jitsu people talking about this Cara Murray woman who's in my house as she's in my house, and I'm very confused about the whole thing. Because evidently she's talking quite a lot about me. And I have Jake fucking being like, oh, Matthew's being set up. And I'm like, really fucking confused about the whole thing. Have no idea how socially I'm expected, like what my social obligations are in this situation. And at the same time, I'm juggling the fucking world with stressful as fuck work and being abused by this random kid. Like, he needs to be described as a child who has just latched onto my life for no reason. um and I also have this guy called Lewis who is a manager at the Signals Directorate, and he's going through a change of life at the same time. And I know that Lewis is leaking information. He's interacting with me online in all kinds of weird ways. And I know these guys as a group are sharing information with each other. And I'm being abused terribly online. I've been abused terribly for quite some time, several years now. But it hasn't been regular cyberbullying. It's been people hacking my shit, right? And it's been deeply disturbing. Deeply disturbing. And it's been these man children associated with Roy BJJ and Michael Armstrong. I was never having these problems in my life. Like I did have some running-ins with some people in Signals in Toowoomba, right? It's difficult just because of the circles I run in to avoid interacting with these people. But like the amount of just unwarranted abuse just because I just randomly crossed paths with these people, and how thoroughly they have impacted my life for no reason other than just their personal malevolence and inadequacy as people. It's been fucking catastrophic. And I truly do not wish these people well, right? I think they should go to prison. I would love them to go to prison. They deserve to go to prison. The extent of the weird shit and situations I've had to deal with, because I'm both immensely famous, but kept from having any form of wealth as a protective factor, is terrible. Like, I've had people come into my home. Like, so now we're talking about a different rant. I have people who know of me, who live in the same community as me, who know of me before I get there. And I have situations where I have people coming into my home because I've had to advertise for housemates online and things like this. And because I live either at a sustenance level for Canberra as a young professional, or I'm a fucking hobo, I do not have access to basic safety and security, like being able to choose to live in my own home, an own place where I'm protected, and I get to choose the people who I'm around. Like, it's terrible. And having these horrific individuals who just stumbled into my fucking life and decided to lock onto me has been heinous. And they must go to prison. It is imperative that people who behave like this spend time behind bars. Absolutely imperative. Yeah, my life can't continue until these guys are in fucking prison. Done.